Hey Lorenzo, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Excellent. We'll start here in a couple minutes.
Hello.
Hey Tamika.
Hey, Tamika, how are you?
Hey, finding you.
Good.
All right, it is 2 o'clock. Thank you guys for logging in. This is Leveraging Commercial Stats to Boost Your Business series. We have been doing a residential leveraging webinar for about 5 years. And so now we're going to be doing a commercial stats webinar on a quarterly basis. This is with Miami-Dade Stats. What you're going to be seeing today is going to be a quarter two stats. Thank you to our chief economist, Gay Corortone, pulling these numbers from the Miami Commercial MLS. So thank you to Gay. And so this program is essentially you're going to see the stats, what's happening in the market, but more importantly, the trends. Where's the commercial market today? Where's it going in the future? And the best part is the different leaders that come on, and we have our two of our best leaders, our 2024 Miami Commercial President Lorenzo Perez Jr., and then our Commercial President-elect Tamika Moses. Lorenzo and Tamika, how are you guys doing? Thank you for coming on and helping out the members today.
No, thank
Fine.
you, and thank you for putting this together. This is amazing, for all our members, and it's I've seen the success of it. So thank you for having us.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
okay. So the first question right off the bat, we'll go with you, Lorenzo. Um, why is it important for commercial practitioners to know the commercial stats and to tell Miami's story?
Well, again, we collect all this amazing statistics, and it's always important to know what market you're in. So obviously, we want to know the statistics comparing us to Texas and New York and all these other, MSAs and cities. So we do want to compare that as far as in a global approach, as far as any national approach. And then you also want to know how are different sectors in the commercial industry doing. Obviously, what is retail doing versus commercial, industrial versus office. So you also want to segment those and know how each one is performing throughout, our area and then throughout different areas also. So there's opportunities and whatnot. So to me, those are the important aspects of that. And then obviously promoting Miami, South Florida is right now obviously on fire. It's known nationwide, also globally known nationwide. So actually promoting our backyard is very important because obviously there's a lot of great things happening here commercially.
Excellent. And Tamika, what would you like to add?
I mirror exactly what I mirror exactly what Lorenzo says as well. I mean, South Florida is the place to be. We have a lot of companies that are moving here, so a lot of their employees are moving here. So the first thing they're like, "Hey, I need to rent an apartment." So we just have an influx of people that are moving here to the South Florida market and to get a better, and so they need a place to stay. So we've been having a lot of multifamily developments that's been turning out. A lot of them are luxury developments at that. So I just think we just are the hardest market in the country right now, and I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, excellent. We have some great graphics that our design team put together. You're going to see that here in the next hour. So let's get into our agenda for today. We're going to look at, like I said, quarter two 24 stats, and then we'll hear from Lorenzo and Tamika. And then I know one of the questions, obviously, in the residential webinar, is it being recorded? It is being recorded, and it'll be available on MiamiRealtorsLive.com. And also, if you guys would like this PowerPoint to help you with your marketing, you could type in your email in the chat, and after I'll go in there and look at all the emails, and then I'll send you this PowerPoint straight to your email. And so, Lorenzo, you talked about, and both Tamika talked about how Miami ranks in the nation. And let's start, with multifamily, because I know both of you guys, do a great job of the multifamily sector. But looking at this graphic here, Miami #1 in the U.S. This one for either, if you guys wanted to answer, is why is this so important for our commercial market, and why is Miami outperforming everybody else?
Again, the reason why is one and foremost is again the laws in Florida, as we've seen after COVID, are very favorable, very pro business. So obviously, people have been changing and moving to South Florida, so that's created a huge demand for residents. And again, as you know, land has become more scarce. Multifamily going vertical has been the way to go. So people have been moving down. So that's why there's been a great growth in multifamily units and development. There's been a high demand for it. As you alluded to earlier, we're also getting companies moving down. Tamika mentioned it, so we're getting large companies like Apollo, Blackstone, and a lot of financials, a lot of different sector corporations seeing the value in Miami. So with those, you're bringing in additional residents, and on top of that, employees for those. So creating that secondary effect on the multifamily sector.
Excellent.
Most definitely. And I think that also with the Live Local Act is what is going to really continue to keep on pushing more developments. We have a lot of mass development going on with multifamily because housing is definitely needed in the South Florida area.
Yeah, excellent points there. All right, so let's move on to the next sector. Let's talk about retail. Miami ranked #2 in the U.S., lowest shopping center vacancy rate, and you could see the other markets. But in terms of retail, Tamika, I'll start with you on this one. Do you see this trend continuing here, where Miami ranks in the top for retail?
Yes, I do see this trend continuing. We are a luxury destination as well, so we're starting to see a lot of a lot of luxury stores moving to the area, as well a lot of new stores from up north that are moving to the area. So I don't see any slowdown with the retail market, especially with the shopping center vacancy rate. Even though that we have some downsides, some new in the older shopping centers, but you have the newer shopping centers such as your Aventura, your Bell Harbor. They continue to keep on expanding, so they're still catering to that segment that is here in the South Florida area. So I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
All right, great. Let's move over to industrial. This is again, I have to thank our chief economist, Gay Crorton. She got us these stats here and how Miami ranks versus the nation. So Miami ranked #9 in the U.S. for highest industrial asking rent. Lorenzo, I know that you deal in all the sectors. You're versatile, but is this what you're seeing out there? When you're out there in the market, is this the rates that you're seeing, the rents that you're seeing?
Well, again, these are averages, so yes. We are seeing a plateauing to a certain extent, but the demand is strong. I mean, the demand is been increasing. You're seeing a plethora of new large scale industrial warehouses, but at the same time, you're seeing smaller scale. So you're seeing more in the east side of the Alapadas and so forth. There's a demand for smaller bays, and they're all being taken up as quickly as they're produced. Obviously, the logistics of COVID has created companies now to start realizing that they need to keep some inventory on hand. Obviously, there's been a higher demand for refrigerated storage, so that's been another request here in South Florida. So all these products keep those numbers high, and again, they haven't been building as much as fast overall, so the absorption has been keeping those numbers pretty high.
Okay. All right, let's move over to office. Miami's ranked number 3 in the U.S. in asking office rent growth at 9.5%, and you can see the U.S. average is 1.4. And then Tamika, I saw this article came out in the Financial Times. The title was "Cost of Miami Office Space Hits Record High. Rent of 200 a square foot in Brickell Building highlights city as rare bright spot in U.S. commercial real estate landscape." A rare bright spot. Yeah, it's just Miami has so much demand from those companies that you've been talking about, right? And that is helping the economy in so many ways.
Yes, it definitely is. Yeah, it is rare that we're seeing these numbers now, but I think it's going to become I think it's going to become a regular. You have the Citadel that's just submitted their new plans for a huge office complex that's coming in. You have a lot of A-class properties that are coming in. You have Apple coming in. You have all these major companies that are coming in. So I think that we're going to see a lot more of that. I think that's going to be a norm over the next within the next couple of years. So I don't think it's going to be anything shocking. These companies want newer, faster, state-of-the-art buildings. So you're going to actually be paying for what you get here in the South Florida market. So I can actually see that number being a norm.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, great points. Great points on Citadel. That is a beautiful building, the rendering that just came out yesterday. If you
Yes.
haven't seen that, yeah, it's amazing. All right, so let's talk about market fundamentals. These are some of the points that makes Miami different from an LA, a Chicago, a New York. So let's get into some of these. Lorenzo, you mentioned this. You talked about Citadel and Apollo and the Founders Fund, and this is Lorenzo. This is incredible impact, not just today, but when you look in the future, right?
Correct. So again, back in the 80s, again, Brickell was known as a financial district, and it has always been that way. But now with the influx, again, with COVID, that was the catalyst. You're seeing all these, catalysts as far as COVID and crimes in Chicago and what happened. So people have come here, and then these companies have set a precedent and a tone. So you're seeing now, again, more of these heavyweights that were located in other cities coming to Miami. And so now it's only increasing that demand for the Brickell corridor. And again, also tech. So again, there on the slide, we see tech. So again, the mayor of Miami had done a great job promoting Miami as a tech hub. And so now you've also seen an influx of other tech companies coming into our area. And again, so this has only been a push. And again, so like Tamika has said, it's going to continue to grow for the years to come.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so let's get into some more fundamentals. You have to talk about our population, and you can see that it's projected to rise by 14% by 2050. This is from the Florida Office of Economic and Demographic Research. So that's our population. Miami, what makes Miami different? Nobody has these international migration numbers. And I love this graphic right here, where Miami's number 1, Broward's number 4. You put those two together, it is incredible, and the amount of international migration. How does international migration impact the commercial sector, guys?
Well, again, we're for the first time, I mean, in multi years of traveling around globally, I've seen where now Miami is being spoken of as a global city. And, normally you heard of the Londons, your New Yorks, your Shanghais. Now Miami's in that league. So you're seeing that spotlight. So now you're seeing a lot of these global entities wanting a secondary, not a main headquarters, but maybe a secondary office space just to put on their letterhead. So we are seeing that influx. More so than before, where you had, your typical South America and other regions coming to us as a LATAM gateway. Now you're seeing it more as a global approach from Asia and other parts of the world, Europe and whatnot, coming and looking at Miami as a secondary home and possibly as a primary home.
I love it. Okay. Let's put some data to the wealth migration. Again, our chief economist got these numbers comparing pre-COVID to 2022, which is the latest that have been released by the IRS. But you could see the incredible wealth migration, the change in the average adjusted gross income of households. So Tamika, on this one here, this is really amazing what has happened in the last few years and how Miami's taken down to another level, right?
Yes, it is. It's a complete change, and I would say probably within the last 3 to 4 years, it's very impressive, and it's going to continue to keep on growing. I think with Florida being a no income tax, no state income tax, is very, very attractive to for the wealthy to come here. It started in COVID and it's just accelerated. I mean, I don't see any deceleration in these numbers. I think it's going to continue to keep on accelerating with the wealth migration, could continue to come here to the South Florida market. Just looking at Palm Beach and looking at Broward County, especially Dade County, and now even look at Martin County, it was just, just select markets, but now just to see this overall change of what's going on in the marketplace, I think these numbers are very good, especially for our members to have, so they know exactly who their target audience is. Who am I marketing to? Because now you have another audience I can really definitely promote my real estate business to.
Yeah, no, great points. Yes. Let's talk about the job market. Miami ranks #1 in the U.S. in percent change in payroll employment. So that is another key fun market fact that we have. And then we could also talk about which of the different states. This is a graphic that our design team put together. And it's interesting in all the data. It's New York, California, and New Jersey. No matter what type of data you look at, those are the 3 states. This one right here is on driver license exchanges. But if you look at different other data, it's those 3 states, which is interesting to me. And then,
Again,
guys, I wanted to ask you, this one here was our chairman of the board, Gus Fonte. He asked, can you give me how much have members transacted in the last 2 years? This is residential and commercial, $68 billion. This is 2022 and 23, but 68 billion total from our 60,000 members. This is a mind-boggling figure, right, Lorenzo and Tamika?
Yes,
yes.
it definitely is. So that just goes to show you that the health, how healthy our real estate market is within the last 2 years. I mean, these numbers continue to keep on increasing.
And it also shows, again, how our members really have contributed in this volume of transactions to this area. So it's a testament to all our members and how they are transacting and impacting our real estate market.
Definitely. Okay. All right. So now let's help our members here in terms of looking at Miami-Dade commercial Q2 stats. Again, our chief economist was able to pull these numbers. So this is based on Q2. So the first one we're going to look at is total CRE sales, right? So according to our chief economist, there've been some challenging economic and financial conditions, but investors found opportunities, right? $2.4 billion in commercial real estate transactions. Lorenzo or Tamika, what is your take when you look at these numbers? I know they're down year over year, but that is a lot of investment right there.
It truly is a lot of investment. I think once the interest rates really start to settle and really start to come down, I mean, they're starting to right now. I think we're going to still have more investors come out in the market. We're still having those investors still in the market. And I mean, the market is just tight because it's really a low inventory still with commercial real estate to me. That's what I've been saying.
And exactly what Tamika said, there's a lot of pent up cash on the sidelines. And again, they're waiting for certain things to happen. So there's a lot of opportunities, there. So I wouldn't be surprised that these numbers do, spike back up. And when you look at it from our marketplace versus the national marketplace, we're in a much stronger position versus most other cities.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And we're going to get into that. I love your point there on a lot of pent-up cash on the sidelines.
Yep.
So core 4, let's go to the core 4, which is multifamily, office, and industrial and retail. When you look at just those 4, it's 1.5 billion. and it is down year over year. But like you said, interest rates and the low inventory, things could be changing now if we get some Fed cuts, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so again, that's going to be a catalyst. And again, as Tamika alluded, in the multifamily, there's been some legislative changes with the live local, so that's going to help spur, a lot of development that for the numbers to kind of pan out and whatnot. So there's a lot of changes in the horizon coming that is going to help, turn the market around.
Yeah, and let's go. Perfect segue to multifamily. Let's take a look at thank you, Lorenzo. Quarter two stats for multifamily. We looked at Gay's her stats, and multifamily, this is 5+ median sales price per unit. It is up 10% year over year. So, and this is, perhaps we're starting to see that impact of the Live Local Act, and this will continue in the future.
Agreed. I mean, we're definitely seeing a lot of developments coming up under the Live Local, which is giving opportunity to make new projects to help with the affordability issue that we're having in the marketplace. So that's a huge catalyst there, even with the interest rates high. And again, with interest rates coming down, foreseen in the future, that's only going to help, to create more projects and help with the affordability.
Excellent. All right, Tamika, I wanted to ask you here on this one. Again, if you're not reading our chief economist Gay Corraton's commercial reports, you should be. You can find that on our website. But she breaks it down city by city. And here's a look at the top multifamily markets. Tamika, when you look at this this list, or when you talk about multifamily, even if it's not a city not included on this list, but are there any cities that you're seeing, with performing really well in the multifamily sector?
In smaller little cities such as your Liberty City Market, you have that performing very well. That's an area that's in huge demand. You also, of course, we also have our Alapata. So all of that falls under the Miami sector. But I mean, all of this list below this list that Gay has put together, you guys have put together, it's really spot on. These are really our top performing multifamily markets. So you have different neighborhoods, and people go and our members, what they can do is they can really niche it down to different neighborhoods. They know the city of Miami, so now they're like, hey, let me look in Little Havana, let me look in the Liberty City Market, let me look at the Little Haiti Market, because now all of that falls under the Miami, but those are some very high performing areas. And I mean, you have Hialeah, you have North Miami Beach, and they're spurring, and they have a huge development going that's coming up about under the Live Local Act in the North Miami area. So these areas are some of the top areas. So our members who are on here, I would definitely take this data so you can know exactly how to market in those areas.
Yeah, those are great points. Also, how to leverage it. That's the name of the program, and I think you did a great job in how members can leverage this data. So let's move over to office, which is another one of our strong sectors here. And taking a look at office sales, this is quarter two stats, and you can see year over year up 11% year over year. Lorenzo, this is along with industrial, right? Isn't office is outperforming the nation mostly because a lot of is this correct? Like in other cities, Chicago, New York, people haven't returned to the office. They're still maybe working remotely where we have, or what points can you view when you talk about Miami versus the nation?
Well, again, it's a multitude. So you nailed it spot on with that. Where again, we're seeing again we're never going to go back to 100% for certainty. So obviously that's out of the gate. But again, in percentage wise, we are one of the highest of return to work as far as other cities. So that's what's actually helping to facilitate the vacancy numbers to keep them so low compared to other markets. And on top of that, we have for that reason, there's very little inventory. Again, they're trying to catch up by creating these new A-class, amazing office towers for that demand. But again, they can't keep up with it. So therefore, very low supply, high work, people coming back to work, and the demand for office, again, globally and nationally, to have another office here is what's creating these low vacancies. And it's a very surprise compared to the rest of the nation, which is actually struggling.
Wow. Yeah, excellent analysis there. That's awesome. All right. Okay, so I'll do the same thing for what we did for multifamily. These are the top office markets. And Tamika, I'll ask you again. I'll ask you if you could pick out any city that you've seen out there, with your boots on the ground, the top office markets that you'd like to talk about?
I mean, you pretty much narrowed it down on this on this list. Of course, Wynwood, that's under the Miami area, but you pretty much narrowed it down on this list because these are the top office markets here in the Miami area. And it's just a lot of growth. We already know that Apple is coming to the Coral Gables area. Miami, we have a ton of the financial sector and also the tech sector that is coming downtown. Homestead is really building out as well. Believe it or not, a lot of people are not believing it, but I'm like, yeah, Homestead is really building out. Doral is a really, really great city. It's a growing, is rapidly growing. So that is really a great area. Um, Aventura, most definitely. So yeah, you pretty much have narrowed all the top office markets down.
Excellent. Yeah, and I wrote down your point there on Apple coming to the Coral Gables. Yeah, that's huge. And then also I saw
There,
an article recently about FIFA opening up an office in Coral
Yes,
Gables in preparation for the World Cup. So that incredible news there.
yeah,
yes,
the shining star in Coral Gables has been the Plaza, which has been a superstar project for office that's been amazing in the Gables. And again, in Miami, again, Brickell is just, it's coming down with amazing projects and towers coming down for office.
yes, most definitely. So, what you said about FIFA, and I think it's going to be beyond 2026. They're going to be here. They're going to be setting up things here. So, there's so many things, there's so many moving parts that's coming to Miami, and people I think it's coming slow, but I'm like, it's really coming at a fast pace. So, I'm glad that our Miami team really keeps us informed and keeps us, keep the members up to date of what's going
Okay,
on.
you connect my audio.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
back.
It is back, okay.
It's back.
it began, with when Messi chose to come here, and then of course Inter Miami's building that stadium. So
Yeah.
many things to talk about. All right, let's move over to industrial. These are Q2 2024 stats from our chief economist. So industrial median sales price per square foot, it is up 32% year over year. Industrial, it's been a star, right, for a long time, right, in Miami, and why is that the case?
Well, again, one of the things that we're landlocked, so obviously for industrial, it takes up a lot of land. So obviously to build, these mega industrial areas, it's you're talking about, acres and acres of land to do some of these projects. Obviously, the smaller bay projects still take up, you're still talking about an acre of land, or depending on the size you're doing. So it's difficult to find land now. So obviously, there's a constraint on that. The demand is still here. We have a amazing booming seaport. So, putting that catalyst together is just created that high demand for logistics here in South Florida. And again, we can't keep up with that demand.
Yeah, amazing. Okay. And so let's take a look at the top industrial markets. Miami, is number one there, but of course, Doral, Hialeah. Tamika, when you look at it in the industrial markets, which ones would you like to talk about?
Miami Gardens is a really good industrial area, believe it or not. A lot of people it's now being more visible. So Miami Gardens is a really great area. They have a huge complex that they're in the process of building right now. The developer paid over $200 million for the land for this property. So they're now developing that. So it's gonna be more industrial over there. Hialeah has always been really good. So that's always been a very hot market, and even Opalaka. So I think all of these areas are really good. They all have their own little sweet spot. Long as they're near the highways and everything, near the ports, near the airports and everything, I think they're all really, really good markets. So it is, like Lorenzo said, it is extreme high demand for industrial. We have someone who we order all the time off of his site, I believe Amazon, that is still looking for
Is his
for
name Jeff Bezos?
yeah, Jeff Bezos. Yeah, who's still looking for land to build even more facilities. So yeah, that will be, just him, not just him alone, but there's so many other developers that are coming here. And like Lorenzo said, we are landlocked. So yes. So I think all of these industrial markets are really good.
Yeah, you have any properties that you could help Jeff out with?
Not- Unless he wants to buy something and tear it down, we'll see.
That's great. All right, so let's move over to retail. how are our stats in retail? $492 million in retail real estate sales in actually this is the first half of the year, up 63% year over year. Retail, when you talk about retail, this is up for each of you guys here. What are some of the trend lines and for our commercial practitioners that they could use in retail?
Well, again, some of the trend lines you're seeing is, again, the rents. So you're seeing that in certain areas, rents have continued to grow because of demand. As Tamika said before, you have a lot of these companies from New York, especially restaurant companies. You're seeing a lot of these new, the Rouse, all these new companies coming in and creating a spot in our retail area. But besides that, you're seeing, again, more of the normal, you know, uh, grassroots type of companies, going back to retail because the market demand is there. So, and a lot of retail has not been produced. So we have a lack of supply. So again, those things is what really created that push for retail and that vibrancy where people are still going out, people are still engaging and spending their money. So we really haven't seen any pushback yet on retail.
Interesting. Okay. And let's take a look at the top retail markets. You have Aventura, Miami Beach, Doral. We are in a shopping mecca, right? There are so many opportunities, and that's mostly right from our tourism that helps us out a lot, right? Right, Tamika?
Yes, it does. It definitely does. Yeah, you have your Miami Gardens, you have your Aventura. Like I said before, there's still a lot of luxury stores that are still relocating here to the South Florida market. Doral, people are still out spending money, just like Lorenzo said. So, I mean, retail is not going to die down or any. I don't foresee it dying down anytime soon. A lot of these areas are still building new developments. So they want to live, work, and play in their neighborhoods per se. So you're going to see a lot more of these retail shops, even the older ones that's going to probably get bought out. It probably going to turn into a mixed use. So our retail market is not dying down anytime. I know Miami Gardens just broke ground on a huge development that they're doing that should be ready by 2026. So it's going to be a dynamic game changer for that area as well. So
Oh,
they'll be probably on this list because a lot
okay.
of
Well, watch out for them. I'm sure in the next quarterly update.
yes.
Uh, Excellent. All right. All right. So let's move on to vacant land sales. Retail median vacant land sales price per square foot is up 87% year over year. Lorenzo, you had talked about this, how we're landlocked. We got the Everglades on one side, Atlantic on the other. But how often do you do these vacant land sales, and are there any tips you have for commercial members?
Well, again, as a buyer's rep, again, for multifamily, that's what we do. We try to find obviously vacant land. That's obviously the easiest thing because there's low cost when you're going to go develop on something. But as you had mentioned before, it's getting harder and harder to find larger parcels, tracts of land and whatnot. So my recommendation is always, if you're looking at something on a long-term horizon, you may have a little bit more cushion on where you're paying on land value, on the land component. So if you think long term, it's a long term horizon. You may pay a little bit more, but you'll definitely get that investment back. Because obviously, one thing we can't produce, we can build stuff, but we can't build land. So that's the hardest factor there. And obviously, as Tamika has said, it's become that much harder. So sometimes when we're looking at land, we have to look at, is there something on it? Can we knock it down, scrape it, and build something anew? So yeah, vacant land, the demand for it is there. Everybody wants to build something on it, just depending on what the use is. What can you build on it? What's the use for it? And then from there, just trying to figure out your pricing and availability and be able to move fast.
Definitely. Okay, great. Let's move over to the top vacant land sale markets in Miami-Dade. Of course, Miami Beach is up there, Pinecrest, Florida City. Tamika, I was thinking if I'm a commercial member and I'd like to break into one of these markets, one of these niche, any type of advice if to, maybe they're just starting out and trying to get into one of these neighborhoods. Any advice for them?
I will say market yourself. We have IMAP. I use IMAP all the time to find all kind of properties on IMAP. and that's not listed, that's not for sale. I always cross-checking and everything, and I just started selling mailers. I started making cold calls. You know, you want to get yourself to be known in the area. So I always tell people IMAP is a really, really great tool to start looking. If you want to say, okay, I want to focus in just to say Florida City. So let me pull everything up in Florida City, the owners and everything. Let me start sending them mailers. Let me start sending them postcards. Let me start sending mailers. Let me pick up the phone and actually make a call or two, because you'll be surprised. Somebody may say, you know what, I was thinking about selling. So you want to get your foot in that area. And another thing I also do too, I get in the car of these neighborhoods and I drive. I drive the area. I want to get to know the area. I want to see what's being built in the area. So I want to physically, you know, I like to put eyes on what I'm looking at online. So I do a lot of that. I try to get to know the area. So I always tell people, just get in the car on a Sunday and just drive that area so you could know that area inside and out.
Wow, I love that. I wrote that down. That's awesome. Drive the area. That is an incredible tip. That's great. All right, excellent, guys. So let's move on. Let's talk about what we've talked about so far. This is from our chief economist, $2.4 billion of commercial real estate transactions in the first half of 2024. Office and retail is the investors' picks. Those were the top two. Median prices of properties are trending up. And we have Miami commercial in the rankings we had showed you at the top. So let's go into some of the tools and resources. Lorenzo, you got Miami Commercial had a very successful commercial marketplace today. Can you tell maybe people that are brand new, we are live streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Can you tell people what is the commercial marketplace and why they should go?
Well, again, the commercial marketplace is a monthly gathering that we have where, again, we put out, up and coming topics that are important and relevant to our members. Again, today we had, business brokerage, so with Brian Zolberg. So again, these are topics that everybody's interested in. They want to know more about it. You get to hear firsthand from our practitioners and from other guest speakers that we have. And again, also at the same time, you get to network. It's very important to get to meet to know other members who are in the industry. And one of the best features that we have is the haves and wants. So again, it's what do you currently have as a listing? What is it that you need? What is it you have a client that needs something? So we have that exchange there where you can share that with the other members there in person. And I also invite everybody, even if you don't have any listings, come and attend, because you get to take great information away from these marketplaces. You get to meet people in the industry, get some tips and tricks. And at the same time, you may hear some properties that people have or want, and you may run something across that you may have with you that you didn't know about at that moment in time that your client may have asked you for. So it's a great experience. It's on a monthly basis, and I ask everyone to join because it's an amazing value.
Excellent. Great job there. All right, commercial marketplace. Another tool we have, Tamika did a great job there on talking about IMAP and commercial tax rolls, searching specific commercial property types. Lorenzo, I wanted to ask you, do you have any examples or stories of how you've used IMAP to help you get some deals or better serve clients?
Yeah, again, Tamika had nailed it before. So for vacant land, I use this for searches to search certain areas in Scarborough under IMAP and see, what vacant lands. I get to see what's it entitled to, what kind of zoning does it have. And from there, I can start marketing out to the buyers, to the sellers. And the best part is I get to know, are the sellers local? Some of them may have a mailing address that is not local. So I know, is this something that they are close by or not, that they may want to be interested in at some point to sell. So that gives you a lot of great information. It gives you a lot of the demographics of the area, of what's being done, what's been built. So they really have a lot of information on there. I love to use it to do measurements. So when I look at the lots, I get to see the measurements. What is the lot size and widths and everything else that IMAP offers. So they have a variety of wealth of information that you can use to get these deals done.
Excellent. Okay. That is IMAP. Another service that we have that is free for Miami members is RPR Commercial. You could access it on the Miami Gateway. I love how it says here, a commercial practitioner's secret weapon. Tamika, do you use this one, and what advice do you have for members on RPR Commercial?
Yes, I use it all the time. It's one of my windows that is open up every morning as I'm looking for commercial property for different people. So it does give you a lot of great information, like you see, and give you many flyers and give you a property valuation and give you a lot of market data that you may not have that if you don't have access to the other bigger companies to get some of that market data. RPR does give you more than enough information. So I encourage members who may be having commercial properties or something, maybe going after a listing or something, and maybe talking to a owner about their property. RPR is really good. It'll put together a great packet for you, a great presentation, so you can present it to a potential seller. So I encourage people to use RPR. That is one of my secret weapons. So I have several different windows that are open. So RPR is one of them.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, so definitely everybody on the call, use this secret weapon here. All right, we have some more tools. We have our co-branding marketing materials, and you can find that at miamirealtors.com/co-brand. And you will see there is a commercial right here, Miami commercial on the rankings. We have rankings of, how Miami compares. The first one is #1 U.S. city for foreign investment, #4 best state business tax climate. There are so many here that you guys could leverage, and you could put your company logo as well. Another tool that we have is we have Miami Photify. These are templates that are made by our award-winning design department. It is free for Miami members. You could find it to Photify at your Apple store, your App Store, and also available there. And so you'll be able to download the graphics, and you just add your picture and your company information. So that is a Miami Photify. And then also wanted to add this here. We have our great trainers that are putting on classes. So if you had questions on IMAP, you had questions on Photify, you had questions on RPR, these three do great classes. And here's an email that would, if you have any questions, this is my information. And then this is our information on social. Taking a look at the chat. Thank you everybody for staying on the entire program. Tamika and Lorenzo, you did an incredible job. Thank you guys for taking the time out. We'll start with Lorenzo. If any final takeaways, anything you wanted to say to our members that could help them leverage these stats.
Well, again, thank you, Chris, for putting this together again, because without these stats, again, I would be lost. So this is an amazing resource where I ask our members to go ahead and to, check out these stats as they come out. It's an amazing wealth of information. We're very lucky here in Miami that we have our own economist with Gay. She's been amazing gathering all this information. That's very hard to get. So again, you're getting an inside track to what's going on. You're getting a pulse of the commercial sphere in the different verticals. So take advantage of it. Know your strengths, know your market, and definitely take advantage of what Miami has to offer, because it's great.
Excellent. And Tamika, any final words?
I would like everyone to please just utilize these stats. They are great conversational pieces when you're talking to a potential client, whether they're looking to purchase or looking to sell a property. I think this is really great. All of these stats these stats really do help me out in different conversations I do have with some of my clients. And also these tools are at our fingertips. So utilize each and every last one of these tools, and it definitely help you catapult your business. So yes, I encourage everyone to use all of this data, all of the tools that were presented today, and so much more in your commercial. So when you're talking to a commercial client, you will have as much knowledge as you need to secure that commercial client. So yes.
I love it. And just taking a look at the chat, rave reviews. Thank you guys for George Reyes says, thanks group. Margarita says, thank you for all your time and great information. And I got all the emails. I will be sending you all this PowerPoint so you could use in your marketing and review it with more time. Fernando checks in, great work. Thank you, Fernando, from being here. And this is actually, I should say, Fernando, this is his idea. He years ago we started doing it for residential, and now it's the first one for commercial. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lorenzo and Tamika. Thank you for all your time, and thank you for everybody for logging in. And we'll see you on the next one on the next quarter.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you. You guys have a great and wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome.
Mm-mm.